I played the piano. I played from the age of 6 to about 12 or 13. I was classical piano. My mom really wanted me to do it, and I didn't really like it a whole lot. I guess it was the music. I was good at sports, so I was doing that, and I begged her to let me quit. And she's always said, you'll hate me if I let you quit. And I said, no, I won't. And she let me quit. Should never have quit. And then, but I got a guitar like right after that. So started playing that, and here I am. Just like that. I was, playing what everybody was playing. We're talking 1968 or so. So the obvious. And then I heard Charlie Parker very soon after that and just totally went in that direction. I played some saxophone in school because they didn't have guitar, piano in the concert bands and the orchestras and stuff. So I learned to play the saxophone for that.
The Beatles?
No, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, look, in hindsight, I mean, back then, kids were arrogant and know-it-alls. And I heard Bird, and I got in with the jazz scene in San Francisco, which was really thriving at that time, even though no one knew about it because what was happening in San Francisco at that, 69, 70. But I just found this great thing, and to me that was a great music. And I used to hang out with the guys that were playing rock. I mean, I used to do jams at the Jefferson Airplane House and Up with the Dead and Marin, Grateful Dead. But I was just like, these guys are, compared to what I was playing with the other guys, it just seems stupid to me. But they smoked better shit than we did. But and looking back, I feel like Mr. Magoo. Kind of like here I was in the middle of this incredible place, and I had blinders on. I was just going for something completely different.
Lessons and stuff?
No, really, I didn't. I played piano. I guess just innately understood harmony because of all the piano playing I'd done. And I studied incessantly and got records and was checking everything out and was hanging with the guys. But back then, it was before jazzification was okay. And guys kind of just played, and you had to learn it the way they did, the hard way, just figure it out by yourself. But the guys were real forthcoming, not only in hipping me what to listen to, or they had their own little changes to a tune they were happy to show me. And and so it was easy to get inside the whole mindset and learn real hard. I did have a guy who I really liked. He played guitar. He sort of gave me some lessons and let me hang out with him, more of a mentor than a teacher. His name is Jackie King. And I used to hang out. He used to teach downtown, and I would go down to where he taught and just hang out in the waiting, the area where the students would wait for him. He was like in a music store. And most of his students never show for their lessons. I guess they'd pay for by the month, and just because it was a downtown thing, people had trouble getting there. So I ended up just hanging out with him all day long, and he was being paid anyways by these students that didn't show. So we hung, and he would hire me to sub for him on gigs and things. So that I've had a lot of that. It's the old school mentoring, apprenticeship way of learning. And that's the way I approach teaching now with my students. I figure they get enough of the classroom didactic side. And to me, jazz is a living, breathing art form, and the only way to really make it happen is to play with people who have something to show you. Right, just comes in, but they were playing so much then.
Right.
Now, it's such a different world. I mean, I would go out and play every night all over the place. If I didn't have a gig, I'd be playing all night just on a bunch of different gigs, sitting in a set here, a set there, go listen to a set here, And so, and the gigs were 5 hours, so you really played a lot. And so you got better, quicker. Funny enough, again, back to the arrogance of youth, I really didn't dig guitar players that much. I mean, for me, it was Bird, and then in Coltrane and Johnny Griffin and Clifford Brown and Fats Navarro, and I really dug piano players, particularly Wynton Kelly and Bud Powell and Finest Newborn and Oscar Peterson. And so I was really, and and I didn't hang out with the guitar players. I hung out with the jazz musicians. So a lot of my gigs came from either clubs that didn't have a piano, so the horn players would hire me to comp for them, or jam sessions where, you know, they didn't have a piano, or there were a million horn players and whatever. So really almost all my experience was being sort of the piano player in a group, you know, to do that. So, but I of course, I mean, Wes and George Benson and Barney Kessel took me under his wing when I was real young, so he was a big mentor of mine, and Joe Pass was a good friend. And I love all those guys, you know, and I learned to hear them, but my original instincts led me more towards the saxophone, trumpet, and piano. And if you listen to my playing, you can kind of hear a slightly different approach to the instrument, and I credit that particular outlook to that.
I want to know.
Yeah, it was a New Year's gig. It was 1972. Played with an organ player, and it paid like $125. It was a lot.
You got 125?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a real good gig.
What'd you
I thought every day was going to be like that. Here I am now, boy. You know, if that gig had like really paid $30 and then maybe go in the back room and stuff and not eat, I'd have probably done something else. It would save me a whole lot of trouble.
What did you play?
What did I play?
Yeah,
musically?
yeah.
Oh, we played standards at first, and then as people got more boisterous, they played a lot of boogie kind of tunes to dance to, and played Old Lang Syne at midnight. And
Collected your 25.
man, I was doing great.
Hell, what a
I did. San Francisco was really a great town. I mean, I did cumbia dance classes where, you know, play this incessant beat over and over while the kids do their dance, and we used to get $50 for that. And so we used to, while we were playing the beat, we'd go $50, $50, 50, you know, for hours. You'd go 50, and then I played with salsa bands. I played with jazz bands. I played with a lot of organ trios. You know, that was a real guitar way to work, was with organ. And I played with a lot of great organ players, and so it was a really good place to come up, San Francisco, because when I moved to New York at that time, late 70s, New York had gotten to this place where it was very factionalized. Like the Latin guys didn't hang with the bebop guys, and the bebop guys didn't hang with, this is right when the Brecker brothers were doing 7th Avenue South, and the fusion guys, you know, and it was very difficult to maneuver in all those places. And even though, you know, and if I had to make a choice, bebop's always going to be where I'm going. But I like everything, and I like learning, and I like hanging and figuring out what to do. It's the creative part of the music. And so New York was a bit frustrating for me at that moment. I'm sure it's different now. That was just a little blip in time. And so San Francisco was great on that level. Really, no one cared. It was just wide open and musical. This is a test, right?
Yeah, right there. Right, and then later we'll do that.
Right. They're gonna put like an egg in between or something. Bruce Forman, Forman,